Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Well, a short while ago, just after Christmas, I went to Cape Verde. Although we had some problems there with the house, I did manage to get some fat bike riding in. I took the fat bike out there. In fact, I left it there because the fat bike's meant to be able to ride over anything, including the incredibly soft sand that we find in Cape Verde. But there are some things, if you're riding over sand, that you really need to know. I mean, my view is that road biking, which is what I normally do, actually is less skillful than mountain biking and things like that. So I think the skill factor I'm going to add by actually using a fat bike or mountain bike around the island is far higher than if I just continue to use a road bike. And I can get very many more places than I could before. Anyway, there's things you should know about riding on sand, and hopefully this little video here will help you. Right, we'll go to the computer and then we'll come back. One of the problems with cycling in Sal, in Cape Verde, is that you have these trails, especially off-road, you have these trails and suddenly you'll come across exceptionally soft sand. You'll see what I mean in a second. Now before I get to the soft sand, I actually click down my gearing so that I'm pedaling with very little power going through the back wheels, but it's continuous. You heard that there. And then suddenly my front wheel went. I'll show you that again in slow motion. And that tends to happen. In this soft sand, the front wheel hasn't got much traction. So it's going where it's pushed. And suddenly it's pushed to one side. Now, when it's pushed to one side like that, and it's quite a violent turn, you have two options really. You either stop pedaling, putting your feet down, or you continue pedaling. Now, if you continue pedaling and steer into the direction you want to go, then everything actually is okay, because your back wheel, because you've taken the power off it by clicking down in gear, has little torque and therefore doesn't move through the sand. It actually moves the sand in the direction you want. Then you're back onto ordinary ground. Now the second bit we come into here has some wet sand, which we're just going over, and then it's going to hit some soft sand. And again, I'll just click down, I'm hitting the soft sand, and I just keep pedaling in the direction I want to go to. Because I'm pedaling soft, no matter what happens to my front wheel, wherever it's taken, just steer back in, and I'm actually going to keep going, which is what we want to do. Again, the sand is here. You can see those deep hollows where people's feet are sunk right into it. Off this soft sand, I'll click up the gear again, and away we go. Just about to come off it. Click up, and away we go. And you see, that's got much more power through the back wheels, but if I did that on soft sand, I would just spin my wheel. I wouldn't be able to go. Now the next bit is even more difficult. This is incredibly soft sand that you get on the beach in front of Ponte Preta and the hotels that are there. And I started not in my lowest gear, because in your lowest gear what tends to happen is you don't have time to put your foot on the pedal. So I've got my foot on the pedal and I'm going. But you'll see my front wheel will go from side to side every so often. Just keep pedaling, put it into the right direction, and you can pedal through this incredibly soft sand. You can see it going there. But keep pedaling and you'll stay on your bike and you'll continue moving forward. Now what I could have done here is I could have reduced the pressure in my tyres to about 3 pounds. I've got about 20 pounds in there. But because I was going over to such varied terrain, I didn't really want to just set it up to go over sand. So you can see here going through the soft sand, absolutely fine, so long as you don't give in and you steer back in the direction you want to go. It's a beautiful beach, by the way. And these are some nice hotels. Just come in front of the left and the Lama Beach, and there's Tortuga in front of us. Doesn't always work though. Here wasn't paying particular attention. Hit soft sand, wheel goes, bang, suddenly over. What I was actually looking at was this little cove where someone was swimming. It just goes to show you've really got to keep your wits about you, otherwise you're liable to end up on your face. Luckily, soft sand doesn't particularly hurt, except your pride. Just to prove you can start on soft sand again. There we go. We're up and running again.
That's not as bad sand as in front of the hotels that we just saw before. And this section is near Surface Beach or Kite Beach. And with Cape Verde, I'll just click down because you get this incredibly soft sand. I'm just going to show you what this soft sand is like. You can see that it really is so soft that the front wheel has no traction at all, but the back wheel, because it's got power to it, if you keep it turning over slowly, actually does keep going. As soon as you're back on harder ground, click up the gearing and away you go. And this last bit, we're coming into Ponte Preta, where the restaurant of Ponte Preta is. Again, click down in gear, keep those legs spinning through this very soft sand, and we'll be fine. And what you'll find is there are soft fat bikes you can rent on Cape Verde. We're just about to see some as I come off the bike here. These bikes, I don't think they go through sand, but they are electric bikes, so you don't have to do much work, and lots of people are taking these around the island. Why not take a fat bike round Cape Verde?
Okay, so hopefully that's helped. What I tended to find is it's similar to when you learn to water ski. And when you water ski, if you feel yourself going, you've got two options. You either go and actually fall, or you correct it and you tend not to fall. I've never been skiing, but it might be the same as skiing as well. You think you're going to go somewhere, but no, just correct and you're back on the right track. Anyway, hopefully that's helped you. As I say, I think mountain biking and fat biking over different terrain actually increases your skill factor when you're riding, and that can always help. Can never harm you. Alright, next week something different. Probably be reviewing this Garmin 735 XT watch. Another piece of technological kit that I've added to my big collection. Okay, see you then. Keep well. Enjoy your training.